So I did a video last night on Rockfin that I dropped today about Jacob Blake. And I found out Jacob Blake is the nephew of a guy I played football with, Justin Blake. And I haven't talked to Justin in probably a good 15, 20 years. And I hope he's, doing as well as a family can do. And I talked about it last night because it was his nephew. And I have 3 nephews. 2 of them are 17, one's 19. And I can't imagine what it'd be like to know that, see my nephew get gunned down like that. And my nephews are less likely to have that happen to them because they're black, because they're white. That's the horrific reality. Cops still gun down unarmed people of all ethnicities because our police are completely out of control, but it is decidedly out of control within the black community. And there's somebody put a video up today of a white kid getting shot with a taser, throwing the taser down, fighting the cop just going, hey, never shooting the kid. Kid gets in a car, smashes the cop never shoots him. It's just unreal. So
there's that other one where the guy had a knife and he was coming at them with a knife and they still,
Yep.
They just restrained him. They didn't shoot him.
Yep. And here's a guy with no gun who was just breaking up a fight, getting back in his car, and the cop grabs his shirt, and then when he doesn't comply, shoots him in the back 7 times. And now it sounds like he might be paralyzed. Yeah. You couldn't detain him. You couldn't say, you couldn't, there's 2 cops there. You couldn't shoot him with a taser, any of the non-lethal stuff you're trained to use.
He was outnumbered. So you were worried that he was going to reach into his car for, whatever you were scared of, with his kids there, by the way.
His kids in the car.
His kids are in the car. So I don't know what you thought this guy was going to do going into his car. But even still, you couldn't restrain him. You had to shoot him 7 times. He's unarmed. There's more of you than there are of him. He broke up a freaking fight.
Yeah.
You had to shoot him in the back 7 times.
You just saw a young black man, in a tank top and saggy pants. So I had to take him out. And all these people are screaming. It's just unbelievable. How horrifying. How many people have been killed since George Floyd?
Well, I can give you this, this anecdote. I was posting yesterday. I attended the Pasadena protests because the city was deciding on civilian oversight for police. They did a virtual town hall. It lasted hours because of how many public comments there were. Because here in Pasadena, just 2 weeks ago, or has it been 2 weeks at this point? Yeah, it's been about 2 weeks now, was when Anthony McClain got murdered by police. So this is basically just a weekend occurrence, pretty much. I mean, it was Anthony McClain the week before. It was Jacob Blake this week. And now it's like I was posting about Anthony McClain because I was there and I was talking about Anthony McClain. Someone commented and they were like, oh, well, blah, 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 trying to justify it. And I was like, well, why was it necessary? And I'm talking about Anthony McClain. I'm saying what happened, we don't know if this guy was actually armed. He ran, but that didn't give the police the right to shoot him. We don't even know what he had. That video footage answered no questions. Mm-hmm. And the person responds, and they're talking about Jacob Blake. They're saying, well, why did he try to get into his car? And I'm like, you don't even know which shooting we're talking about. You don't even know which one happened in my neighborhood and which one happened in Wisconsin, because this happens so often.
Yeah.
We don't even know which one people are talking about anymore. Oh, I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about Anthony McClain.
It's the sad reality. I can't remember all of the names. How hard is that? I can't remember the names. It's like, wait, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, it's horrific. And I just and it just really, this one hit home because, my high school.
Yeah, it's your old neck of the woods.
It's my neck of the woods. It's like I've performed and I've driven through there a million times, driving between Milwaukee and Chicago to do gigs. And I when I lived in Chicago, I drove into Wisconsin and did gigs every weekend almost. I mean, and it's just and also this is a guy I went to high school with, is his nephew. And I have 3 nephews. One of them one of them lives in the Chicago area, one lives in Minnesota, one lives in Oregon, and this probably won't ever happen to them. The chances of this, because they're white kids, and the cops are just going to treat them differently. And if one of my nephews is like out of control on drugs, they probably going to just shoot him with a taser. Not that my nephews do that or anything like that, but I'm just saying, like, it's so horrific. So I just wanted to, there's the Milwaukee Defense Fund, and there's the GoFundMe for Jacob Blake, because he's going to need surgery. So I was going to, I have these two items from Chicago, since that's where, Jacob Blake's dad is from, because he went to my high school. I didn't really know his dad, but he went to my high school. I knew Justin, his brother. So I don't know. It's a small little gesture, and it's something I just wanted to, I have. And I'm going to give all the money to the, I can split it down the middle. I can give half of it. That's what I'll do. I'll give half of it to Jacob Blake's GoFundMe, and half of it to the Milwaukee Defense Fund, which is paying for protesters' bails and stuff like that. So it's a Chicago thing, because that's where they're from. I threw out the first pitch at a White Sox game, April 29, 2003. So if there's any Chicago White Sox fans, I'll autograph this for you. And I will, this is the jersey that I wore. It's a throwback jersey, and I'll autograph this for you. So the first person to put $100 in the chat, and I'll pay for the shipping. The shipping I'll take out of my pocket, and then I'll put 50 in the GoFundMe for Jacob Blake, and a 50 in the Milwaukee Defense Fund. So whoever's puts $100 in there, these items are yours, and the money's going to those charities. So
how'd you get to throw out the first pitch? That's pretty neat.
Yeah, it was when I was hosting the game show on the Game Show Network, Cram, and the PR department. I was in Chicago. They would fly us around to do these like press events, I was going to Chicago to throw out press events, and they're like, "Hey, would you like to throw out the first pitch at a White Sox game?" And I was like, "Yeah." I mean, I'm a Cubs fan, but I just love baseball. I was never one of these hate the White Sox. There's this division by a lot of, but I just, when I moved to Chicago when I was 11 years old from Madison, Wisconsin, I loved living in a city that had two baseball teams that I could take the train. When I was in Madison, we had to get somebody's dad to drive us to Milwaukee, which is so I got to throw out the first pitch at a Chicago Cubs game, but I was dressed. It was a promo. I got an extra gig. And I did it as the biker mice from Mars. This is like a ridiculous story, but like they were trying to, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had just blown up, and they were trying to compete with that. So this agent was like, "Hey, you want to throw out the first pitch at a Cubs game?" We go, "Yeah, but you got to dress up as the biker mice from Mars in this big ridiculous outfit." So I have thrown out a first pitch at a Cubs game, but it was
as Biker Mouse 1.
Yeah, as Biker Mouse from whatever he's called, Sparky, or they gave him they were trying so hard, and it obviously always fails. When somebody comes up with something original and cool, it works. But when somebody, so the Sox thing was through the Game Show Network, and so so if anyone wants to throw in $100, that money will all go. 50 of it will go to Jacob's GoFundMe, and 50 will go to the Milwaukee Defense Fund. That's the other thing too, man. I performed in Milwaukee. Like I grew up in Madison, Wisconsin, and we would go to Milwaukee. I would watch the Brewers play. I was at the 82 World Series game as a kid when they played the Cardinals. And then I performed in Milwaukee. I mean, countless times. I can't even think of how many times I've been in Milwaukee. I've done shows there. I know Milwaukee comics. I've partied. I mean, back when I used to party, like I had a blast as a young comic in the 90s in Milwaukee. So the fact that this is like, it's like a kid, somebody's nephew from my high school, and in a part of the country where I'm from.
Yeah.
And it's also just like that thing of, white silence equals violence. Like I have to do something. I got to talk about it on this show. I'm not Joe Rogan. I don't have 1 million followers, but we got to say something, because I just how would I look my black teammates in the face and go, oh, sorry. What am I, what am I supposed to like? It's so, we got to talk about it on our shows. We got to talk about it on social media. You're showing up at protests. I've gone to protests. We got to call. Hey everyone, great ways to support the show are go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood, where you get bonus content for as little as $2 a month, or rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, a blockchain cryptocurrency platform. That's the future. Also, GrahamElwood.com, where all my merchandise is on sale and ships exclusively with the United States Post Office. Like my Vigilante Volume 2, The Dark Knight. We only made 50 of them. They're going fast. Go to GrahamElwood.com to support the show. I'm on Venmo and PayPal, P.O. Box, all of that, GrahamElwood.com.